All right, we are live for episode 3 of the Let's Talk Battlefield podcast. It's your host, Ekolimits, and with me today I have Izzy.
What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Mambo.
Mambo's here and in effect.
And Flak.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
All right, and before we get into the whole podcast and the topics we chose to discuss with one another today, I want to give quick updates on what's going on with the podcast. Number one, the website is fully launched. It's called the Let's Talk Podcast.com. If you want to check it out there, you can. The other thing that is, we are fully on iTunes, and that is pretty hype. You know, we're a legit podcast now. Once you hit iTunes, you hit the big leagues. So that's also out there. And hold on, let me just lower the music a bit so it doesn't go crazy. And the other thing I was gonna say is we are getting a little bit different on the setup of the podcast. So before it was just questions we discussed and we wanted to kind of put out there in a format that's a podcast format. But now we just kind of went out and decided to make it more of a conversation. So we changed it up and we each picked a topic to talk about, and we're gonna just kind of have that as a conversation between us and you guys watching, you guys listening, wherever you are. If you're on YouTube, if you're on iTunes, if you're live with us on Twitch, on my channel. All right, so the hype is real. We got the viewer hype. Mambo, all right, man. Let's go straight into it. So the first, let me give you guys the rundown of the topics today, the things that we're gonna be discussing. First topic of the day is going to be the DLC premium model, and that's a question that Mambo wanted to bring up. The second topic is a question about DICE not publishing drop rates for battle packs and their percentages. That's a question by me. The other topic that we're going to discuss today is the future DLC would you like to see, and that was part of Flak's discussion. And the last one will be, how does the success of microtransactions impact Battlefield? And that's something that Izzy wanted to kind of bring up in the forum. So those are the topics, and without further ado, we don't want to waste some time. Let's just jump straight into it. All right, topic 1, timestamps and everything. You guys know on YouTube with the timestamps. All right, we're gonna go into the first topic. So, paid DLC and a premium model. Do you think it needs to change? If so, how would you change it, Mambo? That was a question from you.
Yeah. So I feel like people need to come up with a better solution to the paid DLC, the premium feature. Like if you look at Rainbow Six, right? Rainbow Six has a free DLC. As soon as they said that, I was like, wow, that's really going to help the longevity of their game. And if you look at Twitch, look how long that game is and well it's doing, right? So I think gamers as a whole will support the community if the DLC is free. So this is why I want to bring it up to you guys. Flak, you could come in and fire in at that. What's your feelings on paid DLC? Do you like it? Do you not? What do you think needs to change in it if you want to change it?
Well, I'm pretty realistic about DLC, and when it comes to game development, right, you have to understand that the developers need to find a way to generate excess money after, the game has been published, so it's all out there. At that point, the income from the game really drops off, and, they want to not only kind of provide services for their player base, but also make a little bit of extra money on the side. And, paid DLC, I think, is always going to be there. It's here. We're used to it. What little information we have on how successful it is really says that it's going to stay here because they are making a lot of money on it. And for me, I look at it, I say, what is the best way to go about solving this problem of, you want to generate extra income, but you don't want to do things like make people feel left out, make people feel like certain content is behind a paywall.
So you think it should stay then?
In some ways, yes.
It probably needs a little bit of a change in how to structure it. There's definitely better ways to do it. But I think we do need the paid DLC. It's just what keeps the community going. Like you look back in the day, they used to just launch a game, and as soon as it was over, as soon as it sold its initial week, sales would just go straight down, and the studio would be working on part two,
And
we're not doing
the
that anymore.
the issue that we have is that now developers kind of shoot themselves in the foot because they divide up their player bases.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a
That's
major,
my
major,
argument with it.
major pain in the butt for Battlefield Hardline. And one of the reasons, a lot of people didn't like it for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons undoubtedly was that it continued to break up the community. And, I bought premium for that game. And, I had maps that I couldn't play because I couldn't find servers full of
Players.
people to play
Right.
those maps. So that was really, really problematic for me. It made me feel like, premium wasn't worth it. It made me feel like, I got ripped off a little bit. Even though like the content was there, I wasn't able to do anything with it. So you look at other games, like you look at Rainbow Six Siege, that is, finding ways to make money without divvying up the community. They're
What
clearly
about
being
GTA? Look at one of the
successful.
largest game developers out there for open world game, Grand Theft Auto. They have this thing called shark cards, and you
What is
support the
that?
developer. It's basically so you could buy
Currency
it's
pack.
like in-game currency.
Mm.
So why couldn't we have an in-game currency to purchase more things, and then they use the currency to support the developers that you
In
like?
Battlefield, like being able to buy money,
Yeah, you know what?
Like-
Oh, go ahead.
war bonds, like you could buy war bonds and then buy battle packs with that.
I was
That
just
might
gonna
work.
say that.
Because-
When you asked me that too, you gave us the question. We usually do that on Twitter, guys, when we obviously want to plan for a podcast. So we're discussing what the topic was, and Mambo wanted to talk about this. And the thing I kind of wrote down, so I don't forget to talk about, is I felt like they should have let you purchase war bonds. Right now, the war bonds are in the game, and it doesn't make any sense. I remember thinking back when Hardline was coming out, and they were saying, you use money to buy weapons, the in-game currency. And I was like, that's a great idea. I was hoping that they would stop hiding things behind a level wall, an XP wall. Like, you can't get the M16 because you're not experienced enough. You're
I
not
like
level
that,
90.
though. I kind of enjoy that part. It gives you something to work for.
I'm
I'm not a fan of where everything is available instantly. I like the
Yeah,
grind.
but don't you think you work for currency if they introduce currency?
yeah.
Not necessarily, because then let's say the best weapon is right there and everyone can immediately buy it. Then what's the point of buying other stuff?
But
I
it's
like a mix
gonna-
of both.
It's going to cost some pretty
I
pennies.
mean, best
right?
weapon is always like a to you weapon. I've always like different weapons than other people do, even the ones that they've said is quote unquote the best. So
Well, they could structure it. They could put it a timer like you have to have XP and money. You just can't buy war bonds to get the best.
that's what they
gun
did
the
in
game.
Hardline. That's what they
You
did.
got
in
to
Hardline.
play and have money. So it ensures that the people that are playing the game are actually getting the weapons with their currency, not just buying war bonds to buy the best weapon.
I actually like being able to put weapons in like battle packs or supply drops as long as there's a easy way to get them, like daily challenges or something, just so you can keep it interesting for a long period of time, provided those weapons aren't, ridiculously OP. I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty, but what they've done with Black Ops 3 has kept the game alive. Even now, they're still adding weapons to the game. Just last week, they put 3 new guns in Black Ops 3.
Like
I mean,
Black
people
Ops 3 is like
freaked
the new
out.
Battlefield 4 in a way. It's just-
Yeah,
people
they
are
just
still
don't
playing it.
support it because
I
nobody wants
mean,
to play the next one. You know
but
what's
it's
crazy?
brilliant.
It is smart, and that's the same thing they did with Battlefield 4 to keep its longevity. They kept putting on content so that we can be carried over to the next Battlefield since Hardline wasn't such a hit. But you know what? I'm reading a comment here by Undead Unicorn. It says, "What if the maps were free, but the weapons were part of the DLC? Premium players get them early, and so on." But the problem is like IMBW in the chat was saying is, most of these games they only worry about one map for DLC. Like Rainbow Six would just come out with one map. Titanfall just comes out with one map, and we're used to getting 4 maps. That's a lot of content. I think
Well-
if they do drop the paid DLC map pack, which I still disagree with too. I don't like segmenting the player base. I just feel like they might be right in the fact that there will be less content.
Well, what if they did something like they did with Siege? They drop it down to, I don't know, $20 to $30 for the pass, and then premium members get it 2 weeks early, and then after that it goes free for everybody.
Well,
I'd be down for that.
and that's fine and everything. The biggest issue for me is breaking up the player base. I mean, because it's like that devalues everything else. That
look at Sony's main franchise, Uncharted, killed the player base with DLC. Killed it.
Really?
Yep.
You can't find games to play because they're all out of region now.
That's ridiculous,
because there's not
man.
enough players.
See, if you make the maps free and you have other kinds of DLC, talking about, I don't want it to be like a pay to play kind of thing where like you buy weapons and stuff in that, but it's like Battlefield, people are asking for character customization, and that does well in Rainbow Six Siege. Like,
look at the game coming out called Wildlands. The character customization coming out in Wildlands is over the top.
It's not very good. It's exactly like it is in The Division. It looks like it's good, but it's actually really basic. It's just changing colors on a few preset items. Yeah, it's not as big as what people think. Now, they could add more, but from what I've seen, it's not that great.
It's more than Battlefield.
Yeah, it's more than Battlefield. Well, anything is more than Battlefield.
That's for sure, yeah. Well, let me see. I mean, sometimes you look at the whole DLC situation, and I know they need to charge money because they put a lot of effort into it. And let's face it, you got to pay people. People have to make money. But I've seen that they rushed some DLCs in the past. Like, you guys remember China Rising?
Yeah.
That was rushed. That was so rushed that when you play the game mode Rush, it feels horrible on it. Like, no one even designed it. They were just like, let's put the MCOM here.
Design.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just horrible, man. I could take those maps and design them for Rush so much better than those guys.
Yeah.
Give us the maps and modes for free and let us pay for other things. Like, you got BW in the chat who's like, I would gladly throw $5 to get me a big mustache. That amazing. Like, there are people out there who would do that.
Why not? I probably would.
What about different melee weapons? So you can come up with a ton of different melee weapons.
Yeah, you could do a lot.
Look at CS:GO. They buy and sell knives like crazy on that.
I mean, looking at things from like a historical perspective, you've got different patches, you've got different uniforms. That could still be considered, oh, well, this is still part of the German army, but this uniform looks different. Or, any of these things that you could look at and say, wow, that looks really cool. Or, wow, that would be, decent as a camouflage, perhaps. And, go about it that way. Just keep the maps and modes free. That's the one sticking point for me.
All right.
They are limited by World War I of what they could do cosmetically. But moving on to the next Battlefields, maybe they'll have more because it's probably going to be modern, maybe a little futuristic. My hopes is they're going to have lots of soldier customization, lots of little things to get people engaged.
What about a barracks? What about a barracks? Like a place where you go to hang out. Like in GTA, you got houses that you buy and you fix them up. You can invite soldiers to come and look at your barracks and how you pimped it out. Like, look at my pillow. I got a furry pillow in a freaking Battlefield. You invite them into your lobby, right? It's like a lobby, but it's your barracks.
Kind of like what the gun range in Hardline.
Yeah, you can have like
gun range in Hardline
is hanging up on the wall and stuff like that. Something different that people invest in time in.
Well,
something you can spend your war bonds on.
Well, come on, can we? I would love. I bet I have so many war bonds. Except I stream and my camera covers it up all the time. I have no idea. I might be a millionaire right now. Who knows? But no, jokes aside, I think they need to do something with that war bond system. It really is terrible. It's just there as a placeholder in case they decide to do something with it. I think. But
still let me buy scraps with it.
I don't even have scraps.
Yeah, but the question wasn't about war bonds. The question was about...
you're changing one currency for another currency. There's like exchange in there now.
Even if it's like 100 war bonds for 10 scrap, like at least it'd be useful at that point.
Yeah, I know, it's so dumb.
Everything unlocked and like 5,000 war bonds hanging around.
Right.
Like, I got nothing to do with them. Maybe.
Black cavalryman in the German army. Yeah, I agree.
All right, Mambo. I think we're gonna move on to the next topic. How you feeling?
Okay.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
so I think it was a great discussion bringing up the DLC and premium model. Obviously, there's a lot to like and there's a lot to dislike, and I don't know. I mean, maybe they'll make some changes based upon what we, you know, ultimately you vote with your dollar, right? That's kind of what happens. So we're gonna jump into the second topic of the day, and it's one by me. So my idea was to ask you guys and everybody else watching, just thoughts on DICE not publishing the battle pack drop rates for battle packs and how to earn them. And this came across my mind because I was browsing the internet and randomly ended up on this news piece about China making a law starting May 1st, 2017, to force all video game companies that employ things like loot boxes, like Counter-Strike and Overwatch and Battlefield's battle packs are probably going to be affected by it too, basically to disclose what those percentages are in there. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to disclose to the public whether how you obtain battle packs or whatever, but I think it deals with if you're going to purchase these things and you're going to expect a legendary, you should, as a consumer, know how much percentage do you have to have a legendary. So I read through the article, it was very interesting. I will link it, and hopefully you guys will link to it too on your YouTube pages. We'll link in the description. It's a good read and it's a good forum for discussion. So any thoughts, fellas?
I think it's a great idea. As a consumer, I think it's awesome. I think companies will be hesitant to do it because if the odds are really low, they don't want people knowing that for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but do you think it's fair for them to
but-
make a low odds?
I think they should definitely show us the odds.
No, but like, do you think it's fair for them to have low odds?
Oh yeah, I totally think it's fair.
Yeah.
But I think we should know what those odds are.
I mean, when you take a step back and you look at like the other ways in which this kind of stuff is employed, like when you go buy a lotto ticket, like it tells you the odds of winning whatever on there. Like, why are we not permitted to see what the potential win rate or potential, you know, like, oh, 1 in every 1,000 battle packs has this super rare tank skin or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't
Why
think
not?
the government sees gaming as a gambling sort of medium. I know it's weird. It's like we're in this position where
they will
game
when they
developers
realize
are
they can
making
make money
gambling
off
in
of
their
it.
games.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, looking at it here, everybody says, you know, this kind of stuff is not gambling. Like, it's not gambling. It is gambling. I mean, can we all just be realistic here? And, you know, it's like, well, you're not spending real money. It's like, yes, you are, because you have to spend money to get the, you know, the fake currency in order to gamble. It essentially is gambling. But it's like, you know, I would really like to know the drop rates for, you know, certain things within a battle pack.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be there, you know, right in front of my face, but I should be able to, you know, like Google it and find out what it is or whatever. I would really like to know what the odds are of getting a battle pack for just playing a game.
I mean,
and
I
how
don't think the
that
law is
system-
going to
I'd like
do
that
that for
too.
China.
Great.
But I feel you the same way. I mean, like, sometimes I'm playing for hours and hours. I get like one battle pack. I'm like, what happened? I remember in the beginning of the game when I started playing and I stream it the same amount as I stream it now, you know, and I play off stream as the same amount as I get to. But it seems like back then I got more battle packs and now we got less. And I think if there was less gray area, kind of like if companies are mandated to like give this away, you know, there won't be that chance of them tweaking it middle. I feel like DICE tweaked it randomly. I don't know. I don't have proof.
Well,
But
that's the thing. We all just sit back here and and just like speculate and crab about stuff. Like, why don't we get, you know, what is this? What is that? They changed it. I know they changed it. They might not have changed it. We don't know. But you know, DICE and EA aren't helping themselves by not publishing that information. Like, and let's be honest here, like, even if we knew the odds, I really don't think somebody's going to go, well, you know, 1 in 1,000. Well, I'm not going to pay for that because the likelihood of getting it. No, they're still going to buy it. Most of those people aren't going to even look up the odds in the first place.
right.
You know, they're just going to buy it because they want to experience the thrill that is essentially gambling. They're like, I want to find, am I going to get lucky? That's part of the whole reason of why I have battle pass in the first place. There's a ghost in Izzy's house. That's cool.
Or it's Mambo. It's
The
you.
Battlefield water bottle.
The Battlefield water bottle. Mambo, what are your thoughts?
A good comment by Fame is, well, they do it with the medals. Why can't they do it with the battle packs?
What
They
do you
they
mean
tell
with
you
the
what you got to do to get the medal. Tell us what we got to do.
Yeah.
Well, battle packs don't work that way. It's
Yeah, they're kind of
random right
random.
now. It's
But they
completely
should
random.
make it more like, you know what you got to do to get a battle pack.
I would like it to
Yeah.
be challenge based. Do like a daily or a weekly challenge
That
to
would
get
be
Why
battle
not?
packs.
Yeah.
Like
Right now,
Rainbow
Battlefield
Six
4.
Siege, Rainbow Six Siege has a similar system where if you complete whatever this challenge is for the day or whatever, you receive X amount of renown. Why can't we do that? I mean, or at least that would give me a little
For
bit.
Honor's got the same thing. For
yeah,
Honor's got daily
but they need
challenges.
you
and
to
get
sign into
currency.
your Uplay account. It's kind of very lame. That should be built into the game, not sign into this Uplay account nobody cares about.
Well, for players who have played Battlefield 1 for quite a while, things may be starting to get, I'm not saying they are getting stale for me because they're not, but for other people, maybe it is. But it's like, okay, if, I'm already level 100 and, what other reason do I have to go and complete these medal challenges? Like, give me a battle pack for completing one medal challenge. Like, that's, it's not really going to tear the heart out of your your money making system with selling battle packs. If you give me one battle pack for completing a medal that it probably takes me like 3 days to do, it would just be a nice extra reward for that. So
I mean, I think it should be, the whole battle pack thing should be based on fun and then monetized afterwards, And right now it feels more about like it's based on monetization, and there's very little fun to it because it doesn't feel fun when you're not getting them, or you have no idea that you're going to get this legendary or not. You really want this legendary. I really want some legendaries, but I don't bother because it's like, who cares? Because I'm like, I know I'm not gonna get it. I know it's super stupid random, and that's it, man. I'm done. It's hard. It's hard to say that. Wait, we got Arkilla saying, I'm not a fan of the current system. No, I don't expect get anyone every game, but I think that the probability of getting a battle pack should be significantly high for players who play the game, specifically like a game Battlefield was intended. Yeah, I mean, we're getting them randomly, pretty much.
I would agree. If you're playing the objective and you're doing team-oriented stuff, we level up our classes, in that way. Why can't we get, battle pack rewards at, each level of that class?
That's what they did in Battlefield 4. Every time you ranked up a class, you got a battle pack. Every time you ranked up, you got a battle pack.
What have you had
strange.
to do to unlock a weapon?
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys remember in Battlefield 4 when they implemented the one battle pack per class rank, and then they just gave everyone like a zillion battle packs for all their class ranks? Dude, I got on
retro thing.
I had over 100 battle packs to open. And that was awesome.
It was awesome, but it was also like
Too much.
I had too much. Yeah, I had hundreds and hundreds of XP boosts.
I don't think most people had that
like
problem
400.
though. It was only for the super tryhards.
Okay, yeah, I'm a super tryhard.
Yeah. Most people probably had like 5.
Wow. You know what? Probably right. All right, so I think we'll wrap over that and move on to the next topic. If you guys don't have anything more to add to that, the chat was kind of excited about the topic too, and I feel like it is a good discussion. You guys ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Topic number 3 by Flakfire. You want me to read it, Flak?
I'll go ahead and do it. And this one at least isn't like it's not controversial, right?
Are we being controversial here?
We finally got details on what weapons and vehicles are going to be available in the upcoming They Shall Not Pass DLC. And with what we've seen there, I got to thinking, all right, what else would we like to see in terms of downloadable content? We know Russia's coming. The Russian Empire is coming as a DLC. But that leaves essentially 2 more packs there. And I was just wondering, hey, what do you guys want to see added to Battlefield 1? Like, are there specific weapons? Are there specific factions? What would you like to see?
I want a close quarters DLC, like they did with Battlefield 3. Give me some maps centered around close quarters.
Like
A lot
Metro
of
1818?
Yeah, a lot of people play infantry, so an
Yeah.
infantry-based DLC would be awesome with some close quarters stuff. It would make me really happy.
Mm.
Yeah, but wasn't that more domination?
I
And what,
mean, they
Battlefield 3?
probably still do a
Yeah.
conquest version too.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
But having some maps based around infantry play would be cool.
Yeah, like a Grand Bazaar or something.
Yeah, maps like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Metro.
Shark Canals kind of thing.
Metro, large domination matches. Yeah.
Mm.
Redo Locker or something.
For
Battlefield
me,
One.
you know, when I was in Flak, you're gonna be kind of proud of me, man, because you know you're the historian. As soon as I got that question, I did some research. You know, I sat there on the internet and I checked out where exactly. I mean, it's called World War One, but everyone always thinks Europe and then you know Russia, kind of Eurasia or whatever you might want to call it. But I really started thinking about like where else in the world did they fight, and an interesting part was Africa. There's
Yes.
so much fighting in Africa, and we've never been there on a game setting. And even just South Africa, Cash, if you're watching, you already know. Basically, they fought in a lot of these settings in Africa, and it would be pretty cool. There's a lot of forts there, and there's a lot of like history back there because it was colonized by European countries. And the other
Yeah.
thing that was, we did get some fan mail. I was gonna get to it at the end, but I think it's appropriate to plug it. Let's see if I can dig it up real fast. I believe it was right here. It was a fan mail. I forget who wrote it. I'm gonna have to get back to you in that. But they were talking about Australia and New Zealand as a fighting force, and that would be an interesting DLC to see.
Canada had a large fighting force.
Yeah, but they did a lot of fighting in Europe, if I'm not mistaken, right? Even Australia and New Zealand.
Yes, they did. You know, if we're talking about like Anzac type of DLC,
Yep.
I have no idea really how it would work, but I would really like to see something that really kind of highlights what the sappers did during World War One, which was all the digging. Sorry, dryer's ready. But
Black is a
digging underground,
multitasker.
you know, that kind of stuff, you know, because they had counter digging, and you know, apparently sometimes they would dig tunnels into one another, and there would be fighting like in the dark, like right next to each other, hand to hand kind of stuff. That would be a very interesting close quarters type of thing. But it's a fascinating part of World War One to me. But aside from that, no, I really do like the idea of East Africa, and it's funny. I'll clash with the Great War History channel on Twitter over Paul von Lettow-Vorbeck, which was one of the German generals at the time who you know, commanded the German forces down there, and it's just a really fascinating and just particularly nasty part of World War One in regards to like the way that the troops suffered there. Like it was very brutal, and it's a totally different kind of environment than we currently have in Battlefield 1. So you would see, you know, jungle kinds of maps. You would see
Because Africa is not just deserts, guys. You know?
correct.
Yeah.
It's like plains
Mind
and stuff,
blown.
right?
What? There is a jungle in there?
Yeah,
Yes.
you'd be fighting and see an elephant run back by you or something, you know?
Yo, that I don't care. That'd be kind of cool. And I just
More
think
elephants?
that Africa has so much history that you can do so much, and the settings could be like really lush and like all over the place. Operations could be so awesome. But I did another thing I was looking into, and this is kind of very small because there's only some fighting in Asia.
Yeah,
But there was
you've
some
got
fighting in China, so we
the-
might get
the
China
siege of-
rising again.
Siege of Tsingtao, for example. That was where the Germans basically had a colony over there, and it was invaded by the British and the Japanese, I believe. So the Japanese actually did fight in World War One on the side of the Entente powers. So I actually have some photographs from that, and it does look particularly interesting. So that would be quite a unique setting as well. There have been discussions. I've asked people, oh well, what do you want to see? And they really want to see some of the more obscure type of stuff. So that fighting in Asia, for example, I think there was some in New Guinea as well. But that, and then you have the Balkans, for example. You've got countries out there like Serbia and Greece, and all of those kinds of countries, a very interesting front at that point in time. So I mean, that's kind of the cool part about basing a game on a world war, is that you have lots of different places you can go. And for me, one of the most fascinating bits is weapons. So are there any particular weapons that you guys want to see?
More automatics. High fire rate weapons, please. Some more carbines would be nice.
I think IMDbW is talking about experimental stuff, that they should have their freedom to be creative. They already are very kind of creative. It's not 100%
They've taken liberties,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see that there's very many like King of the Hill, kind of like in Rush or anything that a bunch of foxholes with fixed guns. Like you have to get them out of the fixed position. Like they have pillboxes, yes, but what about a whole heel front that's nothing but fixed guns? And you got to think as an attackers how to get behind that front. We don't see a lot of fixed guns. We'll see one or two in a pillbox.
It's because the maps aren't really linear. Almost none of the maps in Battlefield 1 are linear. That's why.
I don't know. They made for operations pretty linear.
You could create a fort like the fort in Monte Grappa and have a lot more fixed guns to make them have to figure out how to get around them and get in there. I don't know, fixed guns. I think they need to come up with some better fixed guns.
Yeah, but
You
what's
that
weird?
you can just
One
snipe
of
them
those
out.
turrets,
Yeah,
when it's
they get headshotted.
boom, 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 and you're letting them loose. That feels like you feel like a genius just mowing down people.
Yeah.
But
You know
then
what?
gas grenade spam too. I mean,
That's a whole nother
pretty
story.
easy to
They're
get them
gonna
out of there.
address that somewhat. You know what? The other thing I was looking at is when you talk about the fixed guns, is they get destroyed and they don't respawn. Why is
For
that?
like 5 minutes.
No,
Yeah,
they don't
they're not
respawn at
magic.
all.
No, they do.
They do.
do. Yeah, 5
Well,
minutes.
how come
just
they don't
takes a
respawn
while.
in operations?
Operations might be a little bit different. I'm not sure. I know that they respawn in Conquest.
Yeah, they do in
Um,
Conquest for sure.
Oh.
The machine guns, the AA guns, the field
AAs.
guns, all of those respawn.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Maybe
not sure why
operations
in
are just
Operation-
over with much earlier or something. I just never noticed them respawning in operations. I mean, I don't know much about the guns of World War One, but to me, when you asked that question, Flag, I really just kind of thought about what settings. And there was another setting I kind of like jotted down, and it was just kind of out of interest. It was really just, apparently there were a lot of naval battles, and I
Yes.
mean a lot.
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And as far as even like the Americas and junk, even Brazil was involved like in a naval battle way, and I don't know if they could figure out how to board destroyers and.
Do you guys
stuff.
remember Lost Islands from Battlefield 4, the map? When you
Yeah.
played like Domination or TDM there, you were on an aircraft carrier. And I loved
yeah,
that
yeah,
map
yeah.
design. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. It might be cool to have some like on-ship combat or ship-to-ship combat.
See, I would really like to see the ship-to-ship combat. I made a video like a long time ago. Like it was like Battlefield 1 battleship mode, and the idea, and like I'm not a game developer, I don't know how feasible it is, but I think it would be flippin' amazing if we were able to have, for example, two behemoths fighting each other with smaller boats in between.
That'd be cool.
With airplanes, like it would be insane.
That'd be going back to the roots of Battlefield. Like 1942, you used to be able to
Yeah.
take entire big boats and submarines and stuff. Remember that?
Well,
Yeah.
and we did have one of the leaks, one of the what do they call it? Where they looked at the file dump, that kind of stuff, and there was
Yeah.
mention of a submarine in there. So I don't know if
They
that
have
was.
submarines in World War One.
Yeah,
Yes,
they call
they
them
do.
They had
U-boats.
submersibles.
Yes.
Germans.
Yes, and they were just as nasty in World War One as they were in World War Two. But
Did Americans have U-boats?
I think so, but they weren't as well developed.
yeah, they were not nearly as far along. Like the Germans and the British actually had some
British
very
had some?
interesting U-boats for the time, or submarines, I guess, as they would have called them. But no, like that they actually had reference to a submarine in the files. So we did see reference to the Shergren inertial shotgun in the file dump before,
Oh, really?
and now it's been confirmed. So seeing submarines in there, might we see a naval DLC? We still don't have air superiority. Maybe we'll get naval superiority.
What happens if you do those those echoes where you could hear the other submarine bing, bing,
Echolocation.
bing?
Yeah, what movie was that? Like the very famous movie?
Hunting Red October.
Yeah, I think so.
Das Boot.
Yeah.
You know what? That is interesting. I mean, that's just another setting they can explore, and obviously that would take a lot more development. And just to revisit that question, we talked about DLC when Mambo wanted to pose that question. Is premium. I think because we pay for it, and I think because there are paid for DLCs and the maps do cost money, it's more likely that we would see them explore something like this. If it wasn't, then I feel like if we had free DLC, which I still think is the right way to go, but I fear that from free we wouldn't get such in-depth actual things. And if we do, it would be like one map, not four, and four very different maps. I don't know, it's hard. There's such a give or take there, like I don't know, man. It's hard to tell them like, yo guys, we want free DLCs on map packs, and then tell them at the same time, guys, make sure we have plenty of content, because if we don't have, we're gonna be mad. And it's just like, you can't be doing that for free. I know that they wouldn't.
Some loud keyboard there, bro.
Yeah, sorry.
That's how you become a keyboard warrior.
Responding in the chat there, but no, like I think it's awesome. DICE has so many different directions they can go with this. We're over here like, we want this, we want that, and we should probably be realistic about what we're gonna get.
A gamers union. You cannot release DLC unless you show your cards first, and then the players can buy your DLC. DLC can't go on sale until we see what we're gonna buy. You can't hit us blindsided.
So wait,
well, you don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
No, but show your hand, and then that will make the people want to buy it. Don't just say, oh, because we've got a game, we're gonna get money anyways.
Well, they don't always have the ideas yet, because at first they're developing the core game.
No, but they probably sat down. I'm willing to make a bet saying that they probably have all the DLCs already written out.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
they
The map
publish the
layouts
game.
are probably there. They're just fine-tuning each
Maybe
one.
not the map layout, but they know that if it's gonna be France, it's gonna be Russia,
Their topics.
it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I think they already have that. I'd be
Like an
surprised
outline.
if they didn't
Yeah.
think that far ahead.
Right. But I just think they should have to show their hand before we're allowed to even buy it. Almost like they're regulated. Nope. You got to show them what they're going to buy, then they can buy it. You can't just say buy it.
They do that. I mean, like, we're getting the details. You can't actually go out and buy They Shall Not Pass yet. We're getting some of the details. Like, you can buy the season pass. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But by the time They Shall Not Pass is available for purchase, you're going to know exactly what's in it.
Right.
At the same point, like, I do agree with you in some ways, because we were told that we were going to get, like behemoth skins.
We were told that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know where they are. Like, I'm reasonably sure I have never seen, there's no place to equip them that I'm aware of, but it was part of like the pre-order bonuses that you were going to get this.
You know what? I never got that PTFO skin on my MP18. Where's that?
I got it.
Oh,
I didn't
man.
get it.
Feels bad, man. What happened? Can I get a
What
feels
about
bad, man?
customization for the freaking planes? I want some different color smoke trails for the planes, so you could see red, white, and blue flying through the sky.
Mambo, do you want people to just find you and shoot you down? You just shouldn't tell them where the trail is so they can tail you.
That sounds like
colors. You could
a
put
very
different colors on.
American thing to do.
Hey, red, white, and blue. Look at
I'm
this,
over
red,
here.
white and blue.
No, that's after I kill you. Take that. Here's my smoke trail.
Oh, so it's like an airborne tea bag.
Yeah, like a taunt.
Well, you
like
just
a
know
taunt.
people would end up drawing things in the sky with that.
No, you could like put out words in your smoke. Take that. You suck. You know.
Well, that could lead to some
you know
other
what though?
issues.
I mean, I'm reading the comments and official M Jones says I'm sick of rehashed DLC maps from older titles, but I feel like there's a huge part of the community who likes revisits of their favorite maps like Metro on BF3, BF4 when Metro came out and everything else. People were happy.
People still play that map.
Yeah.
Like, there's still a bunch of Metro-only servers up on Battlefield 4.
I like what he's saying. At the same point, I look at him like that should be, because DICE has been, I'm going to say nice, and given us occasional free maps, that we don't have to pay for, which is great because that does bring some of the community together. We did get those for Battlefield 4. We did get those for Battlefield Hardline. I would like to see those, if you want to call them rehashed DLC maps, I would like to see those as free maps. Like seeing Metro 1918, for example, as a free map for Battlefield 1 would be amazing. I would be like, wow,
Echo. I met
that's
Echo
awesome.
on a rehashed Battlefield 3 map. We played Rush together, Echo. It was the first time we played together. It was on a remake of where you're out on the boat. One group is out on the boat in Battlefield 4, and it's got a sandstorm on it.
Oh god, I hate that map. That was the worst Rush map ever. I know what you're talking about.
That's
Gulf
golf,
of
isn't it?
Oman.
Yeah,
Gulf of
Oman.
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 You had to storm
That
the
sandstorm
beach.
is awful.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
God,
storm
that's-
the
it's-
beach.
Not even
We
the
played
sandstorm. The
together.
layout of that push when it comes to rush mode, it wasn't good. It was just like, why don't you spawn them half a mile away and have fun going there?
Right. But
Yeah.
it's a rehashed map.
It
So-
is, and I do agree. Like if
Mhm.
if I'm paying for something, I don't want to have like a rehashed version of something. So I
love
totally
Strike
get
at Car
that.
Can. I love Strike at Car Can.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because it's more infantry based, Izzy. You want
Hmm.
more infantry? No.
But do you
Not
want to pay
really.
for it because you already paid for it in the older?
No,
games,
that's
in
the
older
ones they could
maps?
get free. That's the ones they could get free.
Do you
Okay,
think?
yeah.
Do you think they're going to do that as a DLC for Battlefield 1? Like just revisit an old school Battlefield map
think-
pack?
I think doing that would be smart, but I think making people pay for it would be really
Yeah.
kind of a crap thing
How
to
about
do.
remastering it to the area that it was before we seen it in the other Battlefields to make it like very generic?
It's
Or
hard to say because if you do Metro, there'll just be a hill. Nothing's dug in.
there's no
Like,
train.
this
Well,
is
there were
Metro
trains.
in World War One.
No,
We didn't
no,
think of digging the
I've-
hole yet.
I've got photos of the Paris Metro from 1910. It was there.
Flak, you were there.
There we
It
go.
was
I
there.
imagine.
Black has already called them out.
Black
he said they're
was there.
bringing back Metro.
It existed.
Hashtag-
It can
hashtag,
logically
I don't know.
happen.
I'd be okay with Metro.
Me too.
World War One
That would be
edition.
cool.
Just give us another flank route. Don't
They
make
just
it
have
like,
to remove gas
feature
grenades
points.
first.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, it'd be unplayable.
Yep.
I don't like 64 players on Metro. I loved the PS3 version of Metro was so fun.
Too
Because
easy
it-
to spawn trap.
Give me like 300 players on Metro. Like the higher the count, the better.
Good God.
Wow. You can't even
And
move.
Rip console.
Put
Yeah,
two.
it would just die.
Give me a
two armored
bipod and
behemoths
line
in
them
it.
up,
Each
please.
team gets an armored train behemoth on Metro. That'd be perfect.
The train is actually a behemoth inside.
Yeah, like
there's literally
each
nowhere
team's
else
got
to shoot.
one, and they
big
just go
guns.
across, and everybody stuck in the middle dies.
There was a
It's like
map on
quintessential
Uncharted.
Metro.
Uncharted 3 had train battles. Like the trains are going side by side and you're shooting at each other and crossing over the trains. That would be crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
And the trains moved, I presume.
The train's moving.
Yeah.
You're knocking people off the train as it's moving. And you're jumping back and forth between the train. I loved it.
That
We
sounds
got
funny.
an interesting comment from Undead Unicorn who's talking about, it'd be cool if there was the idea of a naval invasion, kind of like Gulf of Oman, like we were talking about, but bringing up, Saving Private Ryan. And I remember playing Battlefield 1942, and there was a map like that, if I recall correctly, or I might be thinking of Medal of Honor. Either way, it was an awesome map where you had to actually, like move up the beaches and, run past the obstacles and that kind of stuff. And that was a pretty awesome map. And I think a lot of people really appreciate when games, mirror things that they've seen in movies or, TV shows or something like that. People really get drawn into that. Like I was playing this Days of War game, and they basically duplicated the map that or the city that shows up in the
Saving
the
Private
sec
Ryan?
yeah no second or third episode of Band of Brothers when
Dude,
they
that show used to be cool.
go into Carentan, and
I
they
like
like
that.
That is
did
cool.
it. They did like a perfect recreation of it. I'm like, that's so cool. I want to play that there.
Omaha, Omaha.
So if Battlefield did that for some DLC in Battlefield 1, that would be pretty cool. To see places that you've seen pictures of. That was one reason I got real excited for the Anzac campaign in Battlefield 1,
Oh
because
yeah,
I
that's
saw
cool.
the big ship that I'm trying to remember the name of it right now, and I can't.
Dunkirk or something like that?
No, I'm gonna have to look it up. Hang on.
So while Flack does that, guys, I'm gonna introduce the fourth topic because I think we kind of explored where some possibilities for DLC. Go ahead, Flack. What was it?
The River Clyde, SS River Clyde, and so like I'd actually seen pictures of that from Gallipoli, and it was there pretty much the entire time. But to know that was a real thing, and to have seen that, in other movies or in photos, and then to see it recreated in the game was like a really cool moment.
Was it a faithful recreation, like very well done?
It was actually pretty well done. Considering that they had to make some changes for playability and that kind of stuff, it was pretty spot on compared to like the actual invasion maps and stuff, because I'm weird and I actually looked that up. But I looked at that, I was like, that's really cool that they did that. So I do agree with what Unicorn said in there, where it's like, that would be neat to see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a possibility that they can try that setting. It'll just be difficult, more so than like Africa or Asia or something. All right, let's switch on over to our last topic for our discussion here, and then of course at the end we're gonna do a discussion with the chat. You guys are chatting along with us, giving us your input here on Twitch while we record. So topic 4, and this one's from Izzy. Izzy, you want to take it away? You want me to read it off?
All right, I got this. So, talk a little bit about the success of microtransactions in other games and how that might end up affecting Battlefield, because it's undeniable that microtransactions have changed games in the past few years. I mean, if you look at the success of Counter-Strike and Call of Duty and Rocket League and I guess now Rainbow Six Siege, it's massive, especially also I guess games like FIFA. Microtransactions have become almost an industry standard at this point, and Battlefield has kind of moved into that with the ability to buy battle packs.
Yeah.
But I think, moving forward, we might end up getting microtransactions in Battlefield. I mean, because they can't look at these other companies and not see their success. I mean, I think Black Ops 3 made $1 billion off of supply drops alone. They made more money off that than game sales.
They don't need to charge for maps and modes. If you look at the amount of money that they're making on these microtransactions, they don't need to charge for maps and modes. Keep the community together, make your money, everybody's happy.
I think
I don't
that
have
is
a
a
problem with
perfect solution.
microtransactions. I don't. I love
neither.
to support the the developers that I really like the games from. I don't mind helping them and paying to keep them going, because they're
Right.
going to make more stuff that I like to play. So it's like
Right.
donating to your favorite streamer. You
Yeah.
donate to them because they're bringing the community that you want to be a part of. I don't mind donating to the people that develop the game that I love to play. They're gamers too. I don't mind microtransactions, but
As
I'm
long
with
as it's
Black.
not game breaking. It can't be pay to win.
Right. I mean, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Like when we talk about pay to win, I think microtransactions are perfect because they give you options. The options should always be there. Like, because I've always said this, that there's that gamer, and maybe some of you guys watching fit that description, where you love playing games, but you just don't have the time because you have family, you have work, you have all these things that take time out of you. And I feel like those people who would sit down and play a Battlefield game, despite their love for the franchise, sit there and they're level 10, they don't have the level 10 gun, they don't have all these things, and they just kind of be like, I don't even want to play this anymore, you know? So I feel like microtransactions should be there for those people who want to just get that level 10 gun and start having fun.
Well, they have that in other Battlefield games. You had the class shortcuts you could buy.
Yeah,
for like
and I
$10.
totally think they're great. Totally think they're great. Maybe they're overpriced. We can semantics about the price. That's a whole different story. But the fact that they're there, I completely welcome it.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, and I don't feel like it's pay to win. I feel like it's more about pay to have fun, you know?
Well, it's not pay to win as long as there's another way to earn it.
Yeah, true. And then the game is already as fun as it is, you know? But if you want to get more out of it and you don't have the time to put in, like maybe I have the time that I've played Battlefield, I could probably get everything for free. For the most part, there's some people who wouldn't mind shelling out $5 more for certain other features and just be like, okay, I got it. And this is what I spend my money on, you know? I don't know. I kind of think if done right, Flak is right. You know, transactions will fund your DLC and fund your post-game launch content.
Yeah. They could start adding some more weapons to battle packs, and then you know, give you a way to buy battle packs with in-game currency, then sell that currency and publish all the maps for free.
Yeah,
Okay.
What about the melee weapons? You could easily microtransaction melee weapons. You can't
Yeah,
even
they're
unlock
fun ones.
You can't even unlock them. Make them microtransaction. You have to buy them.
Nah, but see, that's when you
put
get
it
in
in a
that
battle
area
pack.
where people don't like, oh
Put it in
man,
a
I have
battle
to
pack.
pay for this.
There needs to be another
see,
way to get it.
Like
Yeah, put it in a battle pack, make it rare, publicize it, but you know, give someone an option. You don't want to mess with battle packs? Here, give us $5, you get that shiny knife.
Yeah. Well,
problem
and,
there.
and there's
It's a
something to
hatchet
mention
with a gold blade, you know?
with that,
Yeah.
with what Mambo's saying is, you know, like doing melee weapons is microtransaction, that kind of thing. That wouldn't really be pay to win. Assuming that, you know, there is another weapon that does the same thing. It just looks cosmetically
cosmetic.
different.
Right.
Like the melee weapons in Battlefield 1 are, you know, grouped into categories. So, you know, if it has the same attributes as something
Make
else.
hundreds of them. Make hundreds of them and put them up on a board on their website. This is all the different melee weapons. So we know what we have and show the odds of getting it in a battle pack, and then you could purchase it. Like, look at this zebra striped handle on a hatchet.
Yeah,
Get that in a trading system.
they
Make a
kind of
microeconomy.
went
Ooh,
and said they
trading
don't
system
want
is
zebra stuff because it will
Hey,
take
what?
out
I mean, It's worked for Counter-Strike and Rocket League.
yeah, but then they also have lawsuits about gambling.
Well, that's completely different than just trading.
All right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, just flat out trading, but no monetary anything attached to it. You know, that's okay. That won't be bad. Like if I happen to get that golden hatchet, and I'm like, I'm cool with giving it to you because you're my best friend, and fine.
But there was only really lawsuits over gambling in the U.S. The rest of the world was fine with it.
Yeah, they're trying to do these puzzle pieces,
Nah,
right?
there's
to get
lawsuits
too
in
exotic.
Europe as well.
Is there? All right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they try to do the puzzle
And
pieces.
China
right?
is now doing that law. When you think about it, it's kind of serious all across the world. But you know what? I kind of jotted down some things, like, you know, just kind of thinking about what you meant by that, Izzy. And I looked at, like, you can sell people double XP boosters. You want to level up? Go ahead and level up. You know, it's not that big a deal. You can, like, the whole customizations to the outfits. And I know they're saying, like, their thing was, like, I know you mentioned the zebra thing, but, like, they kind of could customize things and stay true to the era. Why are we all running around on the battlefield basically looking like one another? Why isn't there a captain or a general? You know what I mean? Like, that'd be okay.
Another thing to mention, like Vinny Chops talks about it in chat, but it's like we already have zebra-like skins for tanks. Like DICE has already gone there and done it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Like
not too
so
crazy
that
about
kind of we're gonna stay true to World War I type of thing. It's kind of like whoosh, it's gone.
No, they
didn't have
they
zebra
painted their
striped
horses
skins?
like zebras.
They did, but not like golden metallic
No,
type of shiny
No. black
stuff.
and white.
And then they
you
make
know.
it super rare.
Right, but it's like, all right, that's that wall of realism there is gone.
We had zebras in the cage, and they start crossbreeding. We got a golden black striped zebra. I don't know.
I mean, you know, there is tons of stuff. And the thing is, like, if DICE and EA listen to the community, they would see that there is demand for this kind of stuff. You know, each one of us, I think, has talked about, we want personalization options. Like, we want mustaches, we want different aspects of the uniform, we want you know, a wide variety of things.
I like what Echo, I like your comment about distinguishing the ranks. Like a general would have a different shaped hat, or in the campaign alone, the commander was talking to the, you know, the new private, and he had his hat that had curled up on the side and what, so you could definitely tell he was a higher rank than.
That's a cool idea.
The other guy.
I don't know why we don't have that. Like, and it could be totally World War One. You know, it's just that now you have the captain, or you start, you know, wearing patches or something.
Stars on the
thing.
helmet. Yeah.
Well, and you can do so much.
You know, they already have that kind of system existing with Battlefield Hardline. You know, they built that into one of the DLCs where you can change different aspects of things, or at least give us the ability to, you know, personalize our gun in a way, or, you know, there's tons of stuff that can be done.
Hardline had a lot of good stuff.
I mean, since I started playing. Go ahead. You can.
Oh, I was gonna say, I haven't talked to anybody who's like, no, I don't like, you know, customization. Like, customization is what sells microtransactions. Like, end of story.
Right. This is true.
Whoa,
that's what people want.
Huge. Is Johnny McLovin really true about that? It says vehicle skins are too glitchy. You equip them, but no one else sees them anyway.
That is an issue sometimes.
A couple of them, yes. So they need to fix that, but yeah, no, that is true. I've had that happen on a couple things, yeah.
Huh.
That's lame.
No, I was gonna say that people have been screaming for soldier and character customization in Battlefield since I started playing years and years ago. I mean, forever people have wanted this, and they haven't given us anything, and it doesn't make sense because, you know, I'm not a game developer, but I can't imagine it's that hard to make character customization.
It's not. And for the amount of money that they make off of that, they should. I mean,
they're not making money
doing it. Like, it's something like, I wrote a whole thesis on you know, microtransactions and how that works. Like, I went out and actually visited with game developers and asked those questions, and they're like, we make a lot of money on that stuff because the amount of work that goes into it is minimal compared to everything else. So it doesn't take a lot of time to do those kinds of items. And, you know, if they sell it for $1 and it gets sold, you know, 35,000 times or something, like, they easily made that money back and then some. So it's something I'm like, I don't know.
So yeah, so DICE, if you're listening, Mambo, Flak, Echo, Izzy, we would buy, well, maybe not Izzy. I don't know if he likes the microtransactions, but it sounds like
he posed the question. I think he does.
Yeah, he posed the question, but I would say yes, I would definitely support by buying custom stuff.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah,
and then if you have that, the whole thing, and if there really is like a premium, but it is cheaper, sort of along the $20, $30, I still think that would be pretty decent. You know, if you have that as a thing, like, to speed up none of these transactions or whatever, and you get a battle pack a week free or something, you know, things like that. Like, you can microtransaction buy, but you get this and you get all these little things that you would normally purchase or earn with in-game currency. I think that'd be awesome. Like, let's stop segmenting the player base. Let's just stop that.
And I'm even willing to meet them like halfway. If they're like, I don't know if we can go totally microtransaction, be like, all right, just charge me $25 for premium, but have the maps be free. You know, and I'll still have the other options to buy, you know, of the things that are there. You know, if they're really on the fence about it, even though like their main
the weapons
competitors
literally
making bank off of microtransactions.
So the weapons would literally be behind a paywall, but map wouldn't.
No, you could get them in a battle pack.
No, I'm saying how would that work? How would you meet them halfway?
In how I'm saying it, like that would be fine with me.
So you're saying
more okay
Flak
with
is
it
saying
like that.
Flak is saying, okay, I'll give you $50, but really only charge 25, and the other 25 I'm going to buy your in-store custom items. You're going to use it as a credit to buy in-store custom items or something like that. I don't.
Potentially. I was just saying that, you know, like Rainbow Six Siege, for example, like their stuff doesn't cost like an arm and a leg for their new season of operators, right?
It's like $20, I think.
They cost a lot of renown.
Yeah, but the season pass wasn't expensive.
But the
No, it's
season
30.
pass isn't expensive. So if
But
Battlefield
they have
did
it for a
something like
yearly
that,
season pass. So when you have 2 years, now you're over the price of premium anyway.
well, but you're not buying another game the next year. Like,
This is true.
Fair enough.
you know, that's the issue, and you know, we already know we're not going to have a new Battlefield game in
Yeah, but they're only
2017.
dropping one map every 2 or 3 months.
Well, we
They're
don't
not
know
dropping.
for sure we're not going
Well,
to get
that's
a
that's
Battlefield game
that
this
that's
year.
that give or take. You know, the amount of content, if it's free, is not going to be the same as if it is paid. No matter what, I don't care what you say, unless
It's
you're
true.
making money through microtransactions. If you're
Yeah.
making a lot of money, okay, I think that'll
Yeah, Official Jones, that's like the Division. The Division has a store where you buy stuff, right? You know, in the game, like a lobby, like a selling bench that you go up and trade with the gun vendor or whatever's, you know. That's like the Division. You go up and spend your war bonds to buy that weapon that they got hanging on the wall,
Yeah.
or the, you know, I don't know. Those war bonds could be used a lot better. I like
All right.
microtransactions.
I think we can wrap up that topic if you guys don't mind. Does anybody else want to throw their input in?
We're
just
just
to
very
keep the
opinionated
conversation
on
going.
these things.
It's good, man. It's good stuff because ultimately, I always said this, and when I pitched the podcast with these guys and we came together, is we all have opinions, and the thing is, if we do not start the conversation, we don't sit here and have this conversation, then Dice will ultimately never know about our opinions. So you guys, the chat, thank you so much for being part of this conversation, and you guys and everyone here, this is why we're doing the thing that we do, you know, to bring it to the attention to Dice, or just bring it to the attention to the community, so we have a conversation. So with that, I'm going to segment to our last portion of the podcast, and it is the community-driven questions time. All right. Here's your chance to ask us a question. You can @ somebody here in the chat that you want to ask specifically a question, or you could just say cast, and you can direct that question straight to us. We've already talked about the 4 topics for today, and maybe you still have something that we haven't discussed. So the things we talked about, the DLC premium model and how it needs to change, thoughts on battle pack drop rates and the new laws in China that are kind of might affect it. Future DLC would be, we talked about future DLC, and we talked about how the success of microtransaction impact Battlefield and the hopes that it can change Battlefield towards the better. If it's done right, you know, things are always implemented right or wrong. So right now in the chat, you guys can come up with some questions, and we can just literally shoot the breeze. Maybe it's something that we haven't even talked about, and you want to just kind of throw it at us. That would be awesome. And before we do that, I'm going to remind everybody, if you haven't followed all of us on our links and our social medias, go ahead and do so. You know, the other thing that's started is a website for the Let's Talk Podcast.com, and you can find Izzy's YouTube channel link there, IzzyGoneCrazy. You can find Mambo's Twitch channel link there, Mambo_B on Twitch. You can find Flakfire's YouTube channel. YouTube is just search Flakfire. I think you don't have a special link set up, Flak. I don't know if you told me. And you can find me, Ekolimits, on Twitch as well, Ekolimits. And we also have Twitters, and the links are all down there. But some of you guys might be watching not to the video version of the podcast. You might be listening to the audio, because we're doing both now, because the videos are quite large. We sit here for quite some time and talk about a lot of things, you know, so the video is quite big. So do we have a question, guys, from the chat?
I seen one from Cornbread Johnson. He said, do you think they should have a gun bench or an obstacle course? Something, I think that's kind of where he was getting at, that you could practice, a practice range. I think Modern Warfare 2 had a practice range where you could go in and test an obstacle course running through shooting like a training area. When you're a private, you don't get out on the battlefield. You train a little bit, okay. So have a little training session, like a running melee, a running bayonet, and then turn to shoot, switch to your sidearm, run over here. What's the time limit? How long did it take
Or
you?
just the most basic things. Sometimes people don't know the most basic things in Battlefield. Open a door, hold square.
Right.
You know? Or
Right.
some people
Ammo.
might not know you can just run into a door and he just opens it by
Bash it
himself.
open. Yeah. That
It's
was a
simple
good question
things.
or comment from Cornbread.
Yeah.
I like that.
GMG Live says, Ekolimits, if they added an H1Z1 style King of the Hill, would you win? You or Mambo?
I'd win.
I've never played H1Z1. I don't know what King of the Hill is. I think I've seen a stream or two.
It's basically a last man standing wins.
Hey,
So
that
it's like
sounds
battle
cool.
royale kind of deal.
But you got to pick up your weapons. You go in there with nothing, right?
Actually, that game mode in Battlefield would be awesome. All 64 players spawn on the giant map. Last man standing wins. All you have is a handgun. Weapons.
No.
pop
All you
up
have
like
is just like
scavenger.
a knife, right? And then you have
That
some weapons
would be
scattered.
awesome. What Izzy just said would be awesome.
Dude,
The
that would
maps
be
are
Especially
big
if it
enough
was
for
like-
that.
Make it
Well,
like
are they
scavenger from
big enough?
Battlefield 3. Weapons spawn. You have to go get those. That's what you get to use. I mean, that could be really fun.
All right. Explosive Brandon says, Cast, will we ever get the real Battlefield ever again? What do you mean the real Battlefield? Like 1942? No, that's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm.
That game is too archaic, too old for what it is.
It would never
doubt
fit
it.
in the modern market.
Yeah.
People expect too much from games now.
Yep. Look
Right.
back there. They had no customization, no in-game
Yeah.
currency, no
Yeah.
DLCs even. Like,
Right. IGN did a documentary on how the gamers we put stuff on a nostalgic pedestal and nothing that can ever get close to that. I think there's a lot of that. I went back and played some of the games that I used to play, and like, this is the best game I ever played.
I
Went and played
back
it like,
I played
ugh.
Bad Company 2, and I was like, ugh, what? I loved this game when it was out.
why do I got a bad taste for it now? Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't work right.
Right.
Ariel88 asks, all I want from BF1 is skill gap. That's all. I miss dying from bullets. That's it. What do you guys think? He asked the cast.
Well, what does he mean by dying? What
I think
do
he
you mean?
means
Like
by grenades and all
gas
this silly
grenades and
stuff.
like I think that's like a key part of Battlefield 1 though, is like everything is out to get you and you never know when, like a tank is gonna roll through the building you're running into and smush your face. Like
Dude, the
that's
tanks
an
are
exciting part
OP.
of Battlefield
What's the
1.
odds, right?
Yeah.
People with tanks have the best aim I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how these people live the lives that they do. I see a tank, I look at him, he's like, oh, I hope he doesn't see me. All of a sudden, sniped across the map, dead. Probably a headshot. I'm like,
Yeah. The hitbox for a tank round is like 500 feet, right?
crazy, man.
It whizzes by the mountain, but you get hit by it. Headshot.
Done.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
feel like that with the big grenade from the assault class, the one with the against the tank.
The AT gun?
Yeah, no, the grenade. You hide, and sometimes you hide behind like a rock, and it still kills you.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?
Pastrana's asking, what's your opinion about the 2 melee weapons that you get via puzzle pieces? And he says, I mean, if you get them, like, why are they not always a one-shot kill? What makes them special at all?
They look cool.
Yeah,
I
They
thought
look
they were a
cool.
little bit different, aren't they?
they kind of fill a unique niche in terms of what they can do with the environment in Battlefield. But no, I mean, basically, yeah, they just kind
It's
of
really
look
cosmetic.
a little bit different, and it's bragging rights if you have it.
The sawtooth knife does look really cool. I mean, it's fun to run
Yeah,
around with
cool.
that thing. It's so
I
big,
wish I had
takes
it.
up half the screen.
Feels bad, man, in the chat. I don't have it.
Explosive Brandon says, I don't like the closed corridor maps on Battlefield 1. And I'm kind of confused by that. Because
I think
I
it means like
don't think
Dom
of-
and TDM. The map design for those is awful. The
Yeah.
flow and the spawns are horrible, and it is so easy to spawn trap. More like easier than any other Battlefield to spawn trap on TDM and Dom.
Hardline, please.
Even easier
Hardline
than
people
some
would
of the
spawn in
maps are
front of
even
you.
easier. Some of the maps are worse. For like on Dom, it's awful.
Yeah, Dom is just running a big circle.
Yeah, that's what
That's
I
all it
didn't
is.
like. When I played Domination, constantly everybody would run a circle, and I would try to like break the circle monotony. Instead
Yeah, I
of
run
running
the
left,
other
I
way.
go the other way. But it's still a circle, and I think that's because there are only 3 flags. There needs to be a 4th flag in the middle, so it breaks up the circle monotony.
Not so much that, but when I play with my friends, what we do is we'll take 2 flags, and if you just hold one, everyone's gonna spawn like in one area, and you just sit there and kill them over and over again.
Right.
It's really
Like
broken.
Echo
right
says,
now.
it needs a 4th flag, so it stops that.
Well,
Yeah.
that would start moving into
the middle.
conquest. It
That's
would get
true.
bigger and bigger. It's supposed to be small.
You can't have 2.
What about a linear domination?
Now
They have to run in a line.
Now
That's
you
more like
really
Shangling.
get into World War One when everyone's
That's
dug
true.
into trenches.
Right.
No man's land. No one's
Right.
gonna cross that. Oh man. Here Slayer66 asks a question. Ekolimits, do you think DICE will invent some phantom program like they did in BF4 with EZX? Whoa, Slayer. I'm so
question.
glad you just asked that, because I know who was talking about premium. It was Mambo's was topic, and I meant to address this, Mambo, because you were talking about premium and what do you think is good about it or what needs to change. And one of the best things about premium was the phantom program. I know
Yeah.
I
So
didn't
much
sit
fun.
there and I didn't like try to solve it, but I watched
Right.
like Jack Frags explain how they got it, and I was like, yo, that's in the game. And then I did it, and then it worked, and like
I'm almost positive they're gonna do it with Battlefield 1. We didn't get Phantom in Battlefield 4 until the first DLC launched, so I'm guessing we're gonna get some clues about the Phantom program with the
Right,
first
it
DLC.
starts the whole treasure hunt thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we've
Dude,
already got the
Easter egg.
headsets in there, and nobody knows what the headsets do yet.
Yes.
So I would say it's probably already there. It's just not all the pieces of the Phantom program are
Right.
yet.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
But it's gonna be cool, and what I see is interesting is like instead of just the Phantom program, somebody on the internet figures out, and you watch a Jack Frags video, and then you just put in the passcode that Jack Frag tells you. Remember the last kind of Easter egg they put in the game with the Neebs guy saying promoted, and you get the DICE LA camo,
That was awesome.
but everybody's code was unique and
Yeah.
really generated that way. I mean, like, that's so genius. They have somebody really smart working on that in DICE to be able to do that and to make it so that not only do you just watch a video and plug in this random code that somebody was really smart enough to find out, you have to actually actively do this, you know, and then it made it a whole that much bigger deal for you to see somebody with DICE LA camo. I mean, I remember I had a whole live stream. We did 3 hours. We were only able to do 4 or 5 people. That's in 3 hours of streaming.
Right.
Like, whoa, you know? So I'm hoping that they might even do something like that. Like, you have to do kind of things yourselves. Pretty interesting.
I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it. Hopefully they'll up the game, make it even better.
Right.
It's
Get the
it's the
Phantom
cool
Bow
part.
2.0 or something.
Yeah. Dude, I liked the Phantom Bow, and then they gave it to everybody for free. I was kind of
That really made me mad when they just kind of made that easy to get. I spent hours working for that thing, and then they're like, you know what? We're just gonna give it away.
I was one of those people that was like, oh yay, I have it now. I don't have to go through that long drawn out process of going to get
Oh, it was
mad 'cause
awesome.
I took my time on every DLC to do that Phantom program.
Yeah, me too.
Right?
People came in and said, "How do I get that Phantom Bow?" I was like, "Ha ha ha ha! If you only knew."
Right? I think they shouldn't do stuff like that. Just give it away. I like how, you know, there'll be certain weapons that only a few people have, and if you have it, then that's a badge of honor. That's I
Right.
earned this.
Right.
Yep.
Don't give it
that
away.
is
Make
cool.
them work for it. Things
Exactly.
obtained too cheaply are esteemed too lightly.
Yep.
Yeah. Flax reading the chat. He's smiling over there.
What about a
Yeah.
counter for melee attacks? Really, gun range 27?
No.
Is
No,
that
no,
what
no,
we're
no.
going for, the counter system?
No. Don't make me smack you.
Yeah. Play For Honor if you want counter.
Right. I can't believe that counter stupid thing was in the game.
Yeah.
My least favorite thing they've ever done with the Battlefield game was counter knifing.
Yeah,
The
I was.
stupidest idea ever.
I'm
Yeah.
not even a fan of the animations because they take so long.
I liked Bad Company 2 knifing, just blink,
Yep.
and they're done.
That was done. That was
But-
awesome.
Some of the animations do look cool.
They look cool, but they're too long. And I feel like if you're getting someone like frontal knife, now you just kind of slash them, and then at the end you do the whole animation. It takes a long time. totally cool. But if you're getting someone from the back, it should just be like, done.
Yep.
He's out.
I still think it should be 2 slashes, not 3. 3 seems excessive.
Well, it's 2 if you use another weapon. It's
If
3
you use the bigger melee weapon.
Yeah.
But
No, that
even-
that seems okay to me.
I don't know. With the knife, 3 seems like it takes too long.
Yeah, we
Because
got
you
a
run up
couple.
to him, it's like 1, 2, 3. It
Yeah,
takes
but then
forever.
then the big weapons will have to be 1 hits because what makes them special. And then you
Yeah.
don't want to get 1 hit frontal knife. That sucks.
No, but it could be 2 slash instead of 3.
You see what I'm saying? Because then the heavy weapons are 2 slash, right? And then that means the light weapon has to be 3 slash because then if it's
But the
just
time
2
to kill
slash-
is almost the same on them, due to the speed swing difference. It's almost exactly the same.
Yeah, that's probably dice on purpose, trying to be like, okay, so one weapon's not better than the other, you know? But I just don't know. I mean, obviously we don't want the counter. Nobody,
No.
right? No.
Mm-mm.
All right. But I still think that there should be differences in the animations of speeds. If you get somebody in an advantageous spot, you shouldn't be there for 1 whole second. Frontal knife,
Yeah,
1 whole
I'd agree.
second. Side, maybe 0.75 of a second, but the back, it should be like a third of a second. You know, like just quick because you got him.
Done.
You caught him
Yeah.
slipping.
And you got to get away fast.
Yeah,
I mean-
or then maybe you can start mailing all his buddies. You know,
But
and then
what
you
I
can
really
come out
hate
with a
now
nice
is,
YouTube video. Boom.
I'll knife someone is as I'm knifing, someone will spawn on him and then knife me as I'm knifing the other guy. It
Don't get me
happens
started on
so
this stuff.
often. It's horrible. It's
Yeah.
almost broken. I mean, the amount of times that happens.
All right.
Okay.
So to every one of you, Amagis1 asks briefly one thing you hope that would be changed, added to the game. Well, we discussed this in like our first episode, I believe, right? Like
Yeah.
what we loved and what we didn't like. So those are 2 things. And if you want a like really, really in-depth answer, you can go look at episode 1 of the Let's Talk podcast about Battlefield. But really quick, likes and dislikes. We can-
Faster movement speed would be nice.
I would like
Yeah.
to see tanks go a little slower.
Yeah.
Getting
One
up
of those
out-
two.
Getting up out of a prone position, maybe a little quicker.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I think everybody should only have 1 gas grenade.
Or better yet,
Oh.
0 gas grenades.
I would like to see the reduction of that radius. Because even today, I was playing before the stream. I looked at the gas grenade. I was at 30 health, and I'm like, it's far away from me. Because the gas kind of was centered there. And I
Dissipates.
was like, I'm going to go this way, right? But you still get affected by the range because, I mean, it's completely non-gas there. And it's still, you're in the zone. And it starts to hurt you. And then you
Or how
die.
about they change it so it doesn't go through walls? That'd be nice
please.
too.
Or like through concrete. I'm talking about not even house wall.
Yeah.
It'll go through like Monte Grappa pure
Bunker.
bunker wall.
Yeah.
You throw a grenade at top and it permeates
goes
to the
through.
bottom.
That's some dice magic for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten killed through the walls and stuff from gas. It's like, what? It's on the
Yep.
other side of the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Oh, the revive bug, Kaufman. That's a staple now. We all love
Yeah.
it. Everybody
Yeah.
loves it now.
I just assume it happens every time I get revived.
Yeah, I press triangle twice all the
Switch
time.
weapons
Switch weapon. Switch weapon.
every time.
Yeah. That's to slow down all the revives. So they just put a bug in it. So you have to know to switch you to your sidearm so you don't go OP on them.
You know what sucks? They changed this, alright? You used to be able to get revived and you would look where you were revived. Now you revive and they turn you around to 180, apparently because you want to hightail it out of there, you know?
Yeah,
Or you
whatever.
teleport 50 feet from where your body ended up.
I don't
Yeah.
see that one, but
When
that's
you get
funny.
revived, it's like whoop, you go all the way back
Yeah,
like 20
I've
feet.
seen that.
Oh,
It's because you
man.
get you go to where you died is what happens.
Right.
Oh god. Slayer says another question towards me, I guess. Says, do you agree with dice server player limits and ticket limits? Domination. I think Rush is 24 is bad. They ruined Rush. They ruined Rush by putting vehicles in it and saying you can pick any vehicle you want. And then making the player count little. It should have been 32, not 24. Otherwise, I agree. 64-man operations, even 40s, kind of fun. Right? What do you guys think?
I think it's
Wait.
okay, depending on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The player counts need to be looked at. Make sure that they're not too congested. I like that strategic flank, and if I can't do that because of constant bullet storm,
Well, that
then-
just, I think, goes back to map design. Not all
Yeah.
game modes work right on all maps.
right.
Yep.
Right. They need to bring some Devaman Peak over to Battlefield 1.
Oh, that wouldn't really
For
work
Rush.
with Battlefield 1.
Now they could have some mountaintops. You could. Well, you can't. The parachutes didn't open very well.
It
I
wasn't
heard.
the same. You can't base jump like you can now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The
That
parachutes
was
don't
the
look
main.
like
That was one of the main trailers of Battlefield 3, like them running and just jumping off
That
the
was
ledge.
That
When I
was
seen that, I was
cool.
like, "Oh my gosh, that takes it to a new level." But that was a Rush map design. It was
It was
designed
awesome
for
map.
Rush. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why Rush was my favorite game mode. When it's done right, it could be better than like Conquest or something.
I still
Yeah.
like when maps are designed around game modes.
Yep. So on the Unicorn, question to the cast: what if the field mortar coming in a new DLC had different variants? One that shot out gas shells, and on that topic,
Don't
what
give
would
them
you think
ideas.
about support having gas or incendiary mortars?
I mean, Battlefield 3 did, and even 4, couldn't you switch between smoke and regular mortar shells when you were using the mortars? I don't
I
think
think-
people used it often.
Yeah, but
But
their
I'm pretty
strategy
sure
in war, their strategies in World War I was to blanket the battlefield with mortar, with those big mortar guns. It wasn't to, pick vehicles and stuff apart with gas or fire. It was just the entire. They wanted to remove the mass of people.
I think we lost Mambo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
We broke Mambo.
All right.
He
Well,
thought
I
a bit
think
too hard.
we kind of went overtime anyway. I think we're gonna end it there. It looks so funny. He's frozen right there.
He's just thinking really hard. Give him a minute.
This is giving me like flashbacks to Westworld. I've been watching that.
I'm dying.
See
Here.
some motor
Somebody close
functions.
it, please. Mambo is out.
Rip in the chat.
Rip
All
Mom.
right. Well, I'm dying here, man. I'm gonna be as red as my shirt. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast episode 3. We're gonna kind of close it off right there. Thank you so much for being part of the conversation, listening to it, and everything else. We will be back. We will be back in 2 weeks' time with everybody in the chat. Now all the windows are all funky looking. I could probably fix them, but it's too much work. It's too much work. I gotta sit here and click around. I'm just gonna close the podcast. So, thank you so much for watching. Obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe to Izzy and Flakfire on YouTube. You should follow myself and Mambo on Twitch as well. Thanks for being. Power went out. Mambo, how you gonna? Oh my God, he's in the chat now. Just straight power. Pay your bills, man. So we will see you guys all in 2 weeks to talk about that Battlefield. Hopefully we have some serious news about when that DLC drops. Thanks for watching. I'm signing off. Izzy,
See
Flag,
you guys.
and Mambo. You should type in. Type in bye. Thanks for watching, guys. We will be back.